In life, you have to remember the people who have done good things for you in the past that you couldn't do for yourself. Listen to this story. When you spend 2 years in a juvenile detention center, you tend to not forget the people who helped you, even if they were complete strangers. The first person who stuck up for me was my English teacher, Ms. Puckett. She believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. That's why when she was fired from her job and told she wouldn't be able to find another one for a few years because of her record as a registered sex offender, I knew that I had to help her. How did she get in trouble? Ms. Puckett was falsely accused of molesting one of her students. She was fired from her job after the student's parents reported her to the police. After the investigation was completed, Ms. Puckett was arrested and charged with molestation of a minor. Her charges were based on the one student's story, as there were no other witnesses or any physical evidence. Ms. Puckett was a first-time offender and had a clean record. She was offered a plea deal and agreed to a 10-year sentence of sex offender probation. What are the laws for sex offenders? That's a really good question. Let me tell you the laws around sex offenders. You have to disclose your sex offender status to any landlord or property owner in the state you live in. You're not supposed to live within 1,000 feet of a school, a park, or a playground. You can't own firearms, and you have to be very careful about the company you keep. You can't be alone in a room with anyone under the age of 18, even your own children, without an adult present. If you're married, you can't have any physical contact with your spouse. If you have a roommate, you can't be alone with them unless someone else is in the room with you. How did you decide to help Ms. Puckett? I had heard about Ms. Puckett's story when it first happened, and I had seen her story in the newspaper and on the news in Louisiana. I always regretted not being able to do more back when it happened. When I found out she was living in Georgia, I decided to reach out to her. I wanted to know how I could help. She told me she wanted to find a job, but no one would hire her because of her record. She had been living off of food stamps and disability benefits, and she was barely making ends meet. I decided to start a GoFundMe account for her so she could find a job. The response was overwhelming. People from all over the country donated to the campaign. We were able to raise over $6,000 for Ms. Puckett. Finding a job is hard. Even with a good record, Ms. Puckett's problem wasn't that she couldn't get a job, it was that she couldn't get a job interview. Anyone who checked her record as a registered sex offender saw that she had a felony on her record. This meant that she had a hard time getting a job. After a few months of searching and applying to jobs, she sent out hundreds of applications with no response. Many employers rejected her before she even got a chance to interview. We had to do something. We had to get her felony removed. So you started a GoFundMe for her. What happened next? I started the GoFundMe for her, and people donated. We raised more than $6,000 for her. I was so proud of her, but we had one more hurdle to overcome. Ms. Puckett had to go to court to get her record expunged so she could get a job. Getting a felony expunged is very expensive. We tried to get her a job, but no one would hire her. Ms. Puckett had applied to over 100 jobs without any luck. She was so close to giving up all hope. We had to do something. So I started the GoFundMe again. We raised even more money this time. More than $8,000. Final words: if you see someone in need, you don't have to walk away. You don't have to turn a blind eye because you don't know what to do. The easiest way to help someone is by listening. Even if you don't know what to say, just let them know that you're there for them. If you want to do more, you can always donate to a charity or GoFundMe. Most sex offenders are falsely accused, and the majority of them will never re-offend. The laws around sex offenders are often used to discriminate against people who have done nothing wrong. Don't let your fear override your empathy. Let's end the cycle of discrimination against people who have shown that they deserve a